All right, everybody, super excited to have all of you here today. It's I don't know where everybody's located. You can put in the comment section there, but it snowed yesterday here in Utah. It is just one of the reasons I love living here. Is we typically have 4 seasons. But also with everything going on in the world right now, hopefully everything's calmed down a little bit. Everybody's friends again with everybody nationwide, and we're excited to bring you today a dear friend of mine, actually, Jennifer Yo, the owner of Presidio. But Jen, you've got something super exciting coming up with. I don't want to steal any of the thunder, but I really, really want to have you share with everybody. Apparently, you're a new TV show or something. I don't know what is it that's coming out here shortly. If you can kind of tell all the viewers.
Yes, NBC and Bravo had approached me a year ago to do a reality show about Salt Lake City's real estate market. So I'm super excited about it. It is airing December 4th on Bravo and the next day on Peacock.
That is so cool. So kind of walk us through what now you see all these fun shows on Bravo. Is it like Survivor style? The people, you're off the real estate island. Is it more of a, more drama? Is it more like HGTV? My wife and I, Mindy, Mindy, we love Property Brothers. Like kind of what's the style, what's the focus of Sold on SLC?
Well, it focuses on obviously the real estate agents and luxury homes here in Utah, okay. But it also dives into our personal lives. And one thing I always say is I've never in 18 years of doing this business had one transaction that didn't have a little bit of drama in it. So I think that you will naturally see drama within our team and within the real estate transactions.
Well, and that's one thing I do love about this industry is you could do literally every single home within a neighborhood, and you could give them all a 30-year fix, right? But every transaction is different. Yeah. Everything, there's nothing ever the same. And you're right. There's always drama. There's always, people having fun, or, whether it be, I remember one time we had one buyer, hey, I'm in my moving truck in the driveway.
Yep.
What's going on, right? And so there's always fun things like that. So I'm very excited. So once again, December 5th, you said, right?
December 4th.
4th. Okay, perfect. I'm glad I clarified. So December 4th, Bravo. That'll be super exciting. But that aside, which is super cool, I'm kind of geeking out about that. Be able to see on TV. So today we're talking about secrets to explosive growth. One of the reasons the networks reached out to you, obviously, is you have some of the top strategies that top agents, if they are mentored by you, if they are out there and really want to learn. I mean, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of your top agents, and they really do. They look up to you. They want your opinion because you are not only a top agent, but you're willing to share these secrets with people. Because at the end of the day, there's plenty of pieces of pie, right? There's plenty of pieces of cake, or however anybody wants to slice or dice it. So today I'm excited because you're going to be sharing some of your top secrets that other agents, they hoard them and want to keep it away. So excited to hear from you. So moving into that, why do you share with the agents? Like what's the purpose behind not keeping those secrets to yourself? Why are you so open and willing to do that?
Well, for one, I'm a broker. I have 600 agents that work for me, and I literally relish in watching people succeed. So if I can give them something that they can do, and the cool thing about real estate is we all have our own personalities. We all have our own styles. There's different ways to do this business, and yet it kind of comes back down to the same core principles. And so to be able to share what I do that helped me be successful and see someone take it and put their own spin on it and their own personality on it, it is so satisfying for me to share those tips and tricks with people.
I love that. And it's, those of you who are on here that we've talked before about Rotary, right? Service above self. And that's really something that Jennifer Yo, in my opinion, really emulates that, if we share with others, if we get out there with others, then we're actually able to make everybody better. We're able to make the industry better. And so what's starting out, I don't know if you want to start at number 5, go to number 1 or 1 and just kind of flow through 5, but let's start with your first secret to explosive growth. What would you say that is?
Well, just to give you a little bit of background on me, I started in 2007, right before the market shifted into the downturn. And I had quit my PR job and I was all in. I'm jumping in, I'm going to learn this business. And then the market shifted. And if any of you have been in the industry a while, you've probably noticed a lot of shifts in the market. So one of the main things I want you to focus on today, I am, well, the last 10 years of my career, I've been in the top 5% of the nation in terms of closed transactions personally. Now, there's a lot of people that do a lot more business than me, especially teams. But nationally, if you sell at least $15 million a year, you're in the top 5%. So that's kind of a cool thing. And so that makes you somewhat of an expert, or you figured out how to get from A to Z. And so, it's one of those things where you have to have traditions. So we hear often, what are your habits? What are your daily habits? What are you doing consistently to help you be successful? And I don't like the word habit because I think of biting my nails or eating a piece of chocolate at 8 o'clock at night. So habits, to me, sometimes can come off with a negative connotation. So for me, I want to ask, what are your traditions? And there are teams that say our tradition every morning is to sit from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and make cold calls. So if you ask yourself what your traditions are, oftentimes traditions have a really positive connotation to them. If you think about traditions, you think about holidays, you think about the things that bring you joy, the things that make you happy. And so if you're asking yourself as an agent, what are my daily traditions, weekly traditions, quarterly traditions, and yearly traditions that make me successful? Those are the things you want to start with. These are the things I love to do. It brings joy to me. I love taking my clients to coffee. I love, making calls to my friends and meeting up with them, those types of things. Those are the things that will make you successful. So number one, what are your traditions?
I love that because so many people think traditions mean something else. And I really like how you switched it from habits to traditions, because you're right. How many of us have bad habits? And so the connotation kind of shifts in everything. A dear friend of mine, he actually lives just the other street away from me, Jen. He's an artist, Steve Argyle, New York Times bestseller, Brandon Sanderson. A lot of people here probably know who he is. He writes a lot of the neat stuff. One of his shows are on Amazon right now, The Wheel of Time. He helped finish that book, so give you that. But Steve, amazing artist, amazing. And one thing he talks about a lot is people come up, oh my gosh, you're so talented. And I remember him telling my wife and I, it bothers him. Don't say I'm talented. That gives a connotation that I was just born with it. I created my abilities. I took this. And what you're saying, Jen, is these traditions that you outline and set up, those build into talent. Were you the real estate agent today the same as you were 10 years ago? Or were these traditions things that you did to help change that for you? If you could dive a little bit deeper on that, what is maybe your top three that you felt, I have to make this change in order to make sure that, once again, I wrote down here, top 5%, the last 10 years, everybody, that is huge, right? We had a question on the side, where is she a broker at? Utah.
John, I can't hear you anymore. Did we lose your audio? Okay, no stress, but I will answer that while you're figuring that out. Success sometimes based on your artist friend, it seems out of touch, because when you see someone that's successful, you don't know how they got there, right? All you see is the success. And so I'm sure all of you viewers out there, somebody on social media that's really good at what they do, and you idolize them, you put them up on a pedestal, but you've forgotten that they started somewhere. They had tasks, habits, and traditions that they consistently did that got them successful. And so it does seem out of touch when all you see is the success at the end. But
can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yay, good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me, John? That was weird about your. John, can you hear me?
All right, Jen, I don't know if you can hear me, but apparently I'm having some audio issues myself. I apologize, everybody. So if you can keep going, give me the thumbs up if you can. I was just talking about how, what are your top 3 traditions that you changed in order to really go from, 10 years ago to where now the last 10 years you are top 5% in the nation, which is so big. I mean, that is such a massive transition to do, especially in Utah, right? It's not like you're working out of San Diego or Dallas or Miami. I mean, we're talking, yeah, Utah's a hot market, but there's 3 million people in the entire state. We've just crested that. And last I heard, there's more people than that in suburban, the urban area of Los Angeles or Miami Metro, right? So what are those top 3 things? And while you're doing that, everybody, I'm going to log out and log back in, and hopefully then we'll get that audio fixed where I can actually hear what everybody else is saying. So
Okay, no problem. Well, a couple things. Number one, I'm a huge believer that if you serve everyone, you serve no one. And so having understanding who you are and your niche and who it is that you are trying to attract should be your number one goal. Figure out who it is you're trying to attract, and then dive into all of your socials, your the way you interact with people, your social life, and figure out who it is you are attracting. One of the things that I see as a broker of so many agents so often is that agents on their social media don't even say that they're a realtor. They don't even say that they sell homes. And so knowing who you are and putting it out there so that you attract the right clientele is such a huge part of being successful. I have one of my agents right now that she decided that she was going to become the investment specialist. Now, that didn't mean that she didn't help people buy and sell properties traditionally, but what it meant is that she helped one client turn into multiple purchasing client by she mastered tax strategies. She mastered investment strategies so that each one of her clients could build their own portfolio of wealth. And it is so genius how she has taken somebody that never thought that they would be, own multiple rental properties or even just one rental property, and help them get into that so that they could see the world from a totally different perspective. So knowing who you are, what your niche is. Now, your niche can be area specific. Here in Utah, we have Park City. We have people from all over the world that come to Park City. And so if I decided to be a specialist in Park City, think of the buyer pool or the seller pool that I might have that then grows because it is area specific. So if you want to create an area specific niche, you have to know everything there is to know about that area. Add value to people that are watching you, seeing what you do, understand the areas, understand what fun things people can do in the area, understand the local market, be the local specialist. So there's lots of different ways you can do that, but knowing what your niche is a very crucial part of being a top producer. You just can't serve everyone.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem that everybody has. They really try to do everything, right? They're like, oh, I mean, how many times have you talked with agents? And once again, their heart's in the right place, I would
Absolutely.
say. They want to help everybody. But, we used to, growing up, I grew up in Germany, and we had a lot of people coming up from Africa at that time, back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember one gentleman talking about, you can't hunt an elephant with a shotgun. I was like, yeah, you can. I'm a little guy and thinking, and he goes, no, you have to rifle it in. You have to focus. And so I love what you're saying there, Jen, about finding your niche, right? Because at the end of the day, if you try to be everything to everyone, then you won't be the greatest at any one specific thing, which is what people want. You look at people, okay, Hill Air Force Base, right? You have agents who primarily focus up there in the Layton area on veterans and people who are service members, right? Was that because of your advice? Did you help anybody up there do that, to find that niche? The luxury, when you decided there, kind of go through that if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, we just want people our agents to do what they like the most. I mean, when I first started in real estate, I was door knocking, and I was knocking it out of the park, because having a conversation with someone face to face is way easier for me than picking up the phone and calling people. And so when I found out what I actually like to do, then it was easier for me and I had joy with it. And so we want people to, really focus on what it is they like to do. If it's, serving the nurses and the doctors, or serving airline pilots or people in that industry, then focus on what it is that you love to do, and then figure out how to be the very best in that industry. And so there's lots of tips and tricks out there of how to become the very best, but we want people to do what they love, because then you'll be in the industry a lot longer than doing something. Everyone knows those solar guys that go knock doors for a summer, and then they come back and they never do it again. It was the hardest thing for them. Now, you can't ask me today to go knock doors. I did it for years and I did fantastic at it then, but I evolved like everything does in this business. I evolved. I no longer knock doors. You can't ask me to do it today. I won't do it. But, you have to find something you love to do and be ready to shift, because the market will shift. The same tactics that we had in 2020 to sell homes, we no longer use. So you have to be ready to shift at all times, and be ready to change your marketing. Be ready to change who you are to adapt for the market conditions.
And see, that's brilliant, because right now, I watched the latest news. So I'm not gonna go through and ask Jen the question, but I'll pose it in the style of a question, that the average home buyer right now in this market is 54 years old. And that blew my mind, because for the last couple of years, it was the millennials coming up and buying the majority of the homes, right? But now it's 54 years old. And I'll find the link and I'll put it in the comments here so everybody can go look at that. But Jen, when you talk about shifts in the market, what created this shift in your opinion?
Well, the major thing that created the shift was the prices went up. Interest rates went up. And what happened is, when you're looking at a mortgage payment that fits your budget, and you go look at rent, and rent fits your budget more, then you go and you rent, and then rents go up. And before you know it, you no longer can save for a down payment, because you're putting so much money into rent. And so it's creating that massive divide of who can actually buy right now. And it's kind of heartbreaking as a realtor that I served first-time home buyers for a long time, and heartbreaking to know that there's so many people that aren't getting ahead in order to save for a down payment. And now with today's shifts with the commissions, now having to save for commissions. And so it is one of those things that creates this disparity of who can buy at this point.
Well, and I do apologize. It's actually 56, just so everybody knows. I was off by 2 years. I apologize. But I mean, really, and that's up from the age of 49 in 2023. And that's according, for everybody here, to the National Association of Realtors. So it really, really shocked me. And then here's another number. The average age of first-time buyers, Jen, you were talking about, you love to help them. First-time buyers rose from 35 to 38, and then repeat buyers from 58 to 61. And so the price of homes and the interest rates really are affecting our industry, right? I mean, these are actual facts and numbers. I have a good buddy, Andy Harris, out of Oregon. He goes, facts and numbers don't lie, right? That's what it comes down to. Facts and numbers don't lie. And so in the comment section, as we're talking, if you're seeing this, are these numbers, the 56 years old, the first time buyers 35 to 38, is it affecting you in your area? And while you're typing that, Jen, I'm excited to hear your next secret for explosive growth.
Well, you have to learn how to nurture and grow deeper relationships. People think, unfortunately, I've been able to see a lot of agents that don't ever touch base with their closed transaction clients. They just close it and move on to the next one. And I've had to have some tough conversations with some agents, talking to them about how that relationship one client could equal multiple transactions. So if you're not following up, if you don't stay in contact with them and you don't create a relationship where you want to stay in contact with them, then you are missing out on a lot of closed transactions if that is your goal. So having deeper relationships is so crucial to our business. And one of the things that I find that really helps is, you're already going to the gym, right? You go to the gym. Why are you not networking at the gym? You go to networking events at work. Are you networking with other agents? When I was a brand new agent, I showed up to the office every single day, and I was around top producers, and I was able to watch how they did it. I didn't annoy them. I wasn't one of those agents that shows up and said, "Can I shout at you? Can I be by you all day long?" I was smart enough to just sit back and watch and listen and pay close attention to what they're doing. Before you know it, they felt very confident that I could be someone they could refer business to that they didn't want to handle, because they saw my work ethic. So I know it sounds funny to network with other individuals in your industry, but I'm telling you, there is a huge resource there that you may be able to find other transactions. You might have someone that says, "I need help on this deal because I'm flying back and forth to Brazil to meet to see my ailing grandma for the next month, and I really need help. Would you be willing to help me and learn how to do luxury or learn how to do certain things?" So building deeper relationships is so crucial to our business. There is a website called meetup.com. So let's just say you love horseback riding, or you love knitting, or you love hiking. There are groups that are specific about something you love to do. And I would suggest you don't go join the knitting group if you've never knit before, because then you are really just showing up to find someone to buy a house with you. Go do something that you love to do, because you will create a bond with these people that is so strong that you're truly friends. And then you become top of mind when it comes to buying or selling real estate. So relationships is the next crucial key to being successful.
Well, and it really goes back to what you said earlier about, if you find your niche, right, then these individuals start coming to you. Have you ever had that happen? Your agents had that happen where, like, okay, they want to do the deal, but they don't know it well enough. So they come to you or to one of your agents for that help. And by the way, can we just do this together? Does that ever happen in this industry, do you feel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was asked multiple times to help realtors in my brokerage when I was a young 25-year-old agent. And so you really can get business through networking with other people. There's also lenders that really want to create a relationship with you, and they'll send you a deal. Or, there's people in title that you can talk to and say, who do I network with? There's so many resources for you. Don't close doors. Don't be a secret agent. Don't hide yourself from networking. Get out there, get to know people.
I love that. Don't be a secret agent, because growing up, I always wanted to be a secret agent, a spy. But in this case, yeah, no, it's all about. It reminds me of the joke. Have you ever heard that, Jen? Hey, we missed you today in ninja school, and the student goes, "Exactly, right." So I was so good at what I did, and in the case of real estate agents, if they don't know who you are, then they don't know who you are, right? How many of us have had a family member or a close friend who bought a home? And you're sitting there, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you at least let me look over your escrow? Why didn't you let me help you? And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot." And then we internalize and we get mad, when in reality, we should be mad at ourselves or disappointed in ourselves. Because, as you said, I'm going to use that a lot, by the way, a secret agent. I think that is a brilliant term, and none of us need to be that, because at the end of the day, you need to be out there. Now, Mindy often laughs and says, "John, you need to learn the word no." So when you're out there networking, when you're out there, there's so many good opportunities, Jen, whether it be a BNI or Rotary or Kiwanis or your local church or neighborhood or HOA. What would you say, in order to, instead of going bankrupt doing all the good, what are the great networking opportunities that you have found success in that you'd like to share with everybody? Because there's a lot of good. You're not doing anything bad. But what are the great ones that will possibly bring them the best for them? Or does it vary by state? Does it vary by city and person?
I think it definitely varies, but there are some basic ones that I would suggest, to keep on your schedule. For one, I do quarterly customer appreciation events. And that is where I invite people to the pumpkin patch with their kids, or invite them to a movie theater that I've rented out, because there is this thing called law of reciprocity. Number one, not only do they remember constantly that I am a realtor, I am active, I'm doing what buying and selling homes with people. But number two, they feel like they owe you something. Gosh, you always pay for my kids to go to these events, and you do this and you do that. And they have this sense of, when I buy and sell a home, it's you I'm going to buy and sell with. So having customer appreciation events is key. If you can do them with a group of people in your brokerage, like my brokerage, we do it all together. So it's very cost effective. I only pay for the top 25 people I'm going to invite to that event. Where if you were on your own as an agent and you're like, I have to rent out a movie theater, it can be $4,000 or $5,000. And so I really want you to network with people in your office and say, hey, would you be willing to do a customer appreciation event with me? The cool thing about that is the more people that show up, the more your clients think those are all your clients. They don't have any clue that there's other agents there with their clients. So they're going, ooh, you must be a superstar. So having customer appreciation or client appreciation events is crucial, is one of the foundational things that you can be doing to network with people. Taking people personally to coffee dates, I do pop buys where I just send them something for a holiday, and it's a cute little gift on their door that didn't cost me very much. Now, these are the people that I know will send me referrals. I don't waste money or time on people that I know that won't. And that's okay. There's some people that just aren't that type of isn't that type of a person that's going to pick up the phone and go, my realtor is Jennifer. Yo, she's amazing. You have to use her. But there are people that are that way. And so you want to pick your top 25 clients, 35 clients, whatever it is. And those are the ones you're going to focus most on. But also, as a new agent, it's hard. There's a lot. It's expensive. You don't always have money, right? So there's plenty of ways you can be doing these touches without money. You can send text messages. You can make phone calls. Hey, I was just thinking about you today. Hey, I saw the Lakers won last night. How cool is that? I know you love the Lakers. How are you feeling about it? What did you think about that slam dunk? That's so cool. And all you're doing is deepening your relationships.
I love it. In fact, I still remember, I want to say Taylor, who my son is now 21 years old. And I think he was 8 years old, or maybe Cicely was 8 years old. She's my second oldest. But Jennifer invited us to a massive Easter egg hunt down in Orem. Do you remember that, Jen?
I do, yeah.
And we got there and there were so many people. It was a madhouse. And I remember chuckling because some of the parents would let their child go to get there was hundreds of Easter eggs out there, and some of them had special golden prizes. Like I remember, I can't remember which child it was, but they won a bicycle, a little kid bicycle. It was so cool, and they remember that. But I look back, and you're right. I don't remember the rest of your agents. I don't remember. And you sharing that secret with me, it makes me chuckle, because back then it was, oh my gosh, Jen did this. I can't believe she put this on. So here I am. I'm in the industry. I know these tricks, and you got me. Right? Because in my mind, it was you putting it on, and it was so fun. But back to the parents, there were parents who would let their kids run, and then they would bowl their own kids over to go get the eggs that are in the middle. And I remember Minnie and I just laughed so hard. And afterwards, they came up to you and says, "This is kind of crazy." You're like, "Yeah, but it's so fun. It was such a fun event." But you're right. So for everybody listening, here I am. I'm in the industry. My kids are getting older, but I'm not type situation, right? And looking back in my memory, in my collective thought process, it was Jen's event. Even though thinking back, of course you had a lot of people there with you and other agents with you. It makes perfect sense. But that's not what I remembered. Right. I remember my friend. I remember you were there, in that relationship, as advanced, and obviously, as we have grown and in business and personal, all that kind of stuff. It's the term I like to use is social indebtedness, right? They don't owe you money. They really don't owe you anything, but internally they feel there's a social indebtedness. Thank you, Jen, for doing that. Next time I have someone, I am going to have them reach out to you next time I do it. And I love how you mentioned, calling them or texting them, free ways to do this. Do you ever go to Instagram or Facebook before you call someone and kind of research what they're doing? Is that something you'd recommend people do before you make the call?
Absolutely. I mean, we're so busy as individuals, it's hard to keep up with everybody, but you want to, follow people, comment on what they're doing. And then you have a reason to pick up the phone and say, I saw your son just graduated. That's so exciting. Man, I can't believe when I sold you your first home, he was 10, and it's so cool to see where he's at now and have that deeper connection with them. So yeah, I love, you call it stalking, but I love following people, understanding what they're doing.
Well, and that's the cool part is these relationships. Once again, as you're doing that, I'm looking up online to back everything up. So on the Zebra, it says, in fact, the average person will own at least 3 houses in their lifetime. So think about what Jen just told you. If you build a relationship, so what's the average home in your market, your luxury? So Jen, what's the average, off the top of your head, average home sales price right now in your market?
In our market, it's about $675.
675. Okay, and an agent on, let's assume they only do one side of the transaction, right? Let's go worst case. What would you say their average commission would be on that? On a 675?
Like a $15,000 to $20,000 commission.
So let's go low, right? Let's say that 15,000.
Yeah.
So if they build a relationship with this individual, and the statistics say the person will own at least 3 houses in their lifetime. So the average up there, it actually says the average length of home ownership varies by area from 6 to 18 years in the 100 largest U.S. metro areas. So this isn't just Utah. This isn't just Park City. This is nationwide in the 100 largest U.S. metro, 6 to 18 years. Okay, so if it's 18 years, 3 homes. If they live there 6 years, it's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 15,000 commission and you've built this relationship with people, that means your worst case scenario, so low commission, one side, and they only do 3 homes in their lifetime. My simple math says that's $45,000 that client's value is to you. So now you times that by how many clients and how many relationships you've built. What is your goal for income? What is your goal for growth and taking care of yourself and others? And so if I said I have one client that's literally, according to math and facts, worth $45,000, why wouldn't you keep up with them?
Right. Well, and there's this term in our industry that is way overused, and it's past client. And you should never, ever, ever use the words past client. Your clients should be lifetime clients all the time. And so like John's saying, yeah, sure. If they trust you, they're going to come back to you and they're going to buy multiple homes with you. So why not treat them like lifetime clients? So I want you to ask yourself today, who have I put in the box of past clients? And what can I do to reach out to them today and just check in on them? And that's all you need to do. Reach out, check in on them. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. I'm so sorry about that. Just wanted to say hi. That's it. That's it. And naturally, the conversation, if you're on the phone with them, will come back around to, are you still doing real estate? And if they don't follow you or see that you are doing real estate, or you don't put it out there on social media that you're doing real estate, today is the day to change that. It's to remind everybody that this is what you do. And, it doesn't have to be shameless. Hey, I'm the top realtor in Utah, or I'm this. It doesn't have to be shameless. It can just be like, I helped this person get into this home this week. And here's the cool story about it. He walked through the home with me, he started crying. And this is why I love what I do. And that's really more engaging than I just sold another one, just sold another one, just sold another one. But remind people subtly that this is what you do.
How often on your personal social media or email or text do you do that? Because you don't, I love how you said it, you don't want to overstate to where people quit following you. Think about, email messages. If you receive too many, even if it's good stuff, right? Just too much info. So what do you recommend for agents, whether they're new or whether they've been in it 10 plus years? How often do you reach out or suggest people to push that kind of messaging out to their clients?
Well,
their lifetime. I love that, lifetime client.
Multiple times a week. And I mean like 3 times, and I'm talking subtly. So if you do a walkthrough of a home and you see the coolest fireplace that you've ever seen, take a picture of it and say, I was walking through this home this week. Isn't this fireplace beautiful? And by the way, pro tip, don't ever, ever, ever dog on someone's home. Don't ever, ever, ever say something negative about someone's home. Don't walk in and go, look at this crazy house that has a massive crack through the wall. Don't ever do that. So, but find the good in it. If it's a house that needs to be fully renovated, you guys look at this great investment property. Be positive about people's homes. As realtors as a whole, we need to be kind and gentle to people. We are working in communities, so be kind. But you can do that multiple times a week. I just drove down this street and look at this new construction that's happening in here. How cool is that? What does that sound like? That sounds like a realtor, someone that's interested in the real estate market, right? But you're not saying, I'm a realtor, I help people buy and sell homes. You're just reminding them constantly, this is what you do from 9 to 5 and more, right?
Well, and yeah, you don't want to be that. We've all seen those, in front of every tax season. The blow up two people who wave, and right. You don't want to be that, because once again, people kind of turn away. If you're selling luxury homes, do people who buy luxury homes want to have that kind of person? And I love what you said. Never be that negative. I know if I was selling a home that had issues, and I would never use a real estate agent that was on social media or out there blasting and listing people's issues with their homes, because it would embarrass me. It would make me feel uncomfortable. I want someone who, at the end of the day, is going to make me feel like, you know what? Yeah, you have a good home. They already know what the issues are. They're already aware that they have maybe an ugly crack in the wall, but there's a reason they're selling. And once they sell, they're going to want to buy. And if they feel like you've made fun of them or you have degraded their home, how long have they lived in there? Is this something that they just didn't have the money to fix? Right? And so I love that piece of advice there about making sure to always stay positive, because call it what you want, call it karma, but it comes back to get you. And you may get a lot of views on social media, but
yeah. And there's a few people that are trying to focus on some negativity, things like that. Yeah. But NAR just came out with like a really strong message that, number one, we're not allowed to take videos and photos of anybody's home that isn't under our own listing, our own brokerage, without the consent of the seller. And yet there's still agents that they go on property tours and they're taking videos and they're taking pictures, and then they're putting their own personal opinions on it. So it hurts us as a whole if you're putting your opinions on someone else's home, because we want the general public to trust us. We want them to see us as professionals. And so there's a massive movement out there of like negativity around homes, and it's kind of funny. You see some TikToks and it's kind of funny. As long as your client is okay with that type of humor, then that's fine. But as a whole, let's be positive. Let's be excited about real estate. To me, I'm a realtor. I can sell 4 walls. Give me 4 walls and I'll find the sellability in it. And so I want you to have that mentality. Hey, I'm going to find the sellability in this. Whether it's location or has the coolest front door or, curb uphill, whatever it is, find the sellability and focus on that on your socials. So it's I believe a problem that we're seeing with a lot of socials out there.
Well, and I think it's clickbait's the wrong term, but people want views. They want clicks, right? And they're doing it at the detriment, honestly, of an entire profession.
Absolutely.
And I mean, there are other professions, Jen, that we see in the United States that have a negative connotation because of how people have viewed certain characters or actors in there. And we do not want that to happen. So I'm glad to hear that the National Association of Realtors, I'm glad to hear that you're telling your agents, listen, be professional, right? Let's make sure they understand that. So with that, what's another secret for explosive growth? I feel like we're drinking from the fire hose here. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way, but I mean, I have taken 2 pages of notes so far for what it's worth, just off the little. And we talk. These are new little tidbits I'm getting from this. And so what? I mean, not tidbits. These are steak and potatoes. What I'm getting, but what's your next big secret for explosive growth that you help with agents, whether they be with you or people who are nationwide looking to become better?
Yeah, you have to have a system. And the word system scares everybody. Oh, I have to be organized. I have to do, and I just have to tell you, when I started real estate, I couldn't afford a CRM. I didn't have any money. And so I was trying to figure out how to stay organized, but also how to stay in front of people. And so I created my own systems in a free way. I opened up a spreadsheet and I put everyone I knew in there with their email address and their phone number. And then I started to categorize them as who would want to work with me, who would send me referrals and those types of things. But you have to have a system. And with that system then becomes you mastering skills. And so for me, I wanted to master conversations and communication with people so that when I was just networking, I could have a conversation that actually went somewhere. And so if you don't feel like you're very good at conversations, I know the word scripts is also one of those things like, oh, yuck, right? Nobody wants to hear you say a script. Like, I'm Jennifer Yo, I sell top luxury in Utah, and they don't want to hear that. They want to feel your authenticity. Yeah. So when I say scripts, mastering your scripts and knowing your systems that way, I mean, here's a good question. If you went to a listing appointment today and they said, I only want to pay you 1%, what is your response to that? That is your script. And if you don't know what you'd say when they say, I only want to pay you 1%, then you haven't mastered your scripts yet. So you have to know exactly what your response is going to be for every single scenario. What about, I have a brother that's in real estate and he's going to do it for me for free or whatever it is. Do you have a script for that? Do you have a reason why you're going to tell that seller, ooh, you may not want to work with family and here's why. But, here's what I do. Let me show you what I do and you see if it's a benefit to you, Mr. Seller. And so having your scripts, knowing exactly what you're going to say for every scenario, you have to do it. Go stand in front of the mirror, practice your scripts, know your systems, be prepared. So now you just had a listing presentation. You knocked it out of the park because you know your scripts. You're very good at conversations. Now what? Now you get home. What is my next step? What is my next system? How do I keep my clients in this funnel of they are my clients, my past clients, and my lifetime clients? How do you keep them in there? What is it that you are doing? So for me, one of the things I do is every single Friday, this is a tradition, I send an email to every single person that has a contract with me, whether we're in the middle of buying, they have a buyer broker with me, or a listing and we're just stagnant, it's not selling, whatever it is. Every single Friday, I send an update. And here's why. Because oftentimes people think realtors aren't doing anything until we get an offer from another realtor. And so they tend to think that you are not working for them. But how many of you on this call are constantly working, but they're little things that don't really, like the client wouldn't understand, you know what I mean? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'll tell you, in a weekly email, it does. When I put together, here's all the views on your listing on Zillow, because Zillow doesn't matter to me, but it matters to the seller. Here's all your views on the MLS. Here's how many views are on my social media posts that I put out, the reels that I put out, so that they start to go, wow, look at those analytics. They are constantly thinking, this person is working for me, whether we have an offer or not. Oh, by the way, Mr. Seller, here's the new homes that just got listed in your neighborhood. Here's what your competition looks like. What does that do to the seller? Helps them come to a decision of whether we make a price reduction or not. It's not me telling them, hey, because more often than not, agents are picking up the phone going, yeah, I don't know why it's not selling, but maybe we should lower the price. And to them, they just feel beat up. But help them come to the decision, make it their idea that, hey, here's the newest listing right around the corner from you. It's priced $50,000 below you. And look, it has brand new carpet, new paint, new everything. Just want you to know that's your competition. Then all of a sudden they come to the decision of, oh, we should probably make a change. So you see how that's valuable, your systems and how you make things, the flow of your work go. I close more homes within the days on market because I have a system.
Well, and it really comes down to communication, like you said. It's not yes, you're mixing in a CRM now. That's part of the system.
Absolutely.
But I think people get so bogged down, the black hole of the mind, that a system means technology, a system means only that, right? Whereas I love that you're saying, listen, part of your system, right, is mastering your script. Part of your system is making sure you send out that Friday email, because I do know, because I have people who call me, oh, my real estate agent, they're doing nothing. Well, are you sure? Right? Have you talked with them? And I think that's a big deal, is a lot of clients are upset because they're not being communicated with. But if you ask them, are they communicating with their real estate agent? Typically they'll say no. Well, no, I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so by being proactive, like you're saying, Jen, that cuts out a potential issue that never should be an issue, right? That never should be, lack of communication in today's world really should never be an issue for a professional, right?
Well, who's the first person they blame when the house is not selling? It's the realtor, right?
Exactly.
It's not the market.
Yep.
It's not my pricing. It's not, the way my house is staged or looks. It is the realtor. You're supposed to sell this. And so if I'm consistently showing that I am working for them, that the things I am doing, the way I market homes gets homes sold and theirs isn't selling, then they get to surmise that it has to be some other factor. My realtor's working hard. She sends me an update every week. And even if there was nothing, here's the people that showed your home. Here's their phone number, Mr. Seller. You know why I do that? Because I'm not gatekeeping. You and I are co-pilots on this. If you want to call the realtor, I already got the feedback. Here's the feedback. But if you want to call them, it's your right to do so, Mr. Seller. So you create this relationship of trust while showing them that you are constantly working for them.
Well, it goes back to what you mentioned earlier. By the way, I love Trent Hendry. He wrote, "That's genius. Let them know what you are actually doing." Love it. Same, Trent. I absolutely love what Jen's saying here, because a lot of these things, they're not rocket science.
No.
Right? We're not trying to Elon Musk the real estate industry and catch 30-foot tall rockets, multi-ton. No, we're literally talking just communicate. And so these secrets to explosive growth are items that if you just do it, you will get more business. I'd love to ask maybe a little bit. I didn't prep you with this question, so everybody knows. So, if it takes a second for you to think it through, but if people follow just the secrets you've shared so far, just those, what would you project their increase in growth would be? Because we're saying these secrets will lead to explosive growth, but what we talked about so far, what do you in your gut, right, think Jen what would that grow for them? What growth potential do just those secrets have? Is it an extra one sale a year? Is it a 25% increase in sales? What have you seen through those you've helped, those you've talked with? What do you believe on that?
Well, it all depends on where everybody's at, but I promise you it will increase your sales. It will increase your interactions. And you know how you know if it's working? Your calendar's full. If you looked at my calendar, man, I have appointments nonstop all day, every single day. So I know whatever I'm doing is working. And if your calendar isn't full right now, don't beat yourself up. Start doing these habits, these tactics, these strategies that consistently make you show up to work. I've been privileged to work with a lot of different realtors. And I'm telling you, I have seen the ones that show up like it's a 9 to 5, and I've seen the ones that do it on the side. And that's okay. That's the beautiful thing about this business. You can do it on the side. Yeah. But if your expectations are to make this your full-time job, I promise you can make more than doctors, more than lawyers, more than a lot of high professions out there if you just do the simple science. It's not an art, it's science.
I love that. Now let's take that. So with the sellers, that's the system you're using, right? How would you, let's see here, Corey White, how would you use that strategy with buyers?
Great question. I wanted to touch on that. So again, buyers tend to blame the realtor, or they say things like, have you heard things like this? Well, we found the home, the buyer didn't. Well, why? Because it's on the MLS. They can get it on Zillow. They can get it on realtor.com. They find these things, and then they call you and say, will you show me that home? Well, sometimes as realtors, we get a little bit lazy. We set up a hot sheet that then sends out to our clients what they're looking for. But I promise you, if you take a moment in every single day for every one of your buyers, and you scour the MLS, because what do we know about buyers? Buyers are liars. They tell you it has to be 3 bedrooms, it has to be this, it has to be that, it has to be that. And you go, listen, I know you wanted 3 bedrooms, but this one only has 2 and an office, and it has everything else you wanted in it. Do you want to go out and see it? Do they not feel like, wow, my agent found us something? My agent is working for me. So same exact tactics. You don't just sit around and rely on the tools that we have, like the MLS, to create a hot sheet to tell your clients when there's a home. Because what are they doing at 9:00 at night? They're scrolling through Zillow. Oh, look at that home. Look at that home. And so beat them to the punch. Find the properties that are out there and go, I know this doesn't totally fit what you're looking for. It doesn't have a fence. And I know you have 3 dogs, but you know what? I think this house has been on the market for 45 days. I may be able to negotiate a fence for you on this one. So create something that makes them go, oh man, she's working hard for us. It's not us constantly, saying, can you show us that home? Can you show us this home? And then weekly send an email. Well, we went out to see this one. You rated that one an 8 out of 10. How are you still feeling about that one? When do you want to go see more homes? You know what I mean? Send a weekly email. This week we did this. This week I scoured the MLS for you. This week I found these properties for you. You don't want to go see them. No big deal, but I wanted to make sure you had the links to them in case you change your mind. Create a weekly touch of this is what I'm doing for you.
See, and I love that because you're reminding them, okay, here's what you saw and here's what you thought. Oh yeah, I forgot. I really did like that. Or yeah, I forgot there was purple tile for the bathtub. Who has a bathtub made? I've seen this before, by the way, right? Tile for the bathtub, very Roman, very European. Do I like that? Do I not like that? My wife, we love to travel to London. And so she really likes that white subway tile that a lot of the nice hotels have there. So when we redid our master bathroom, that's what we did. We did the baked clay subway looking tile. And so everybody has their individual taste. Do people remember that? They're looking at these homes, they're overwhelmed. They still have their daytime jobs. Do they have children, right? Do they have pets? What's going on in their lives? Have they forgotten? At the end of the day, did the buyer just forget what they loved about the house? It's possible. Now, one question. So Andrea Thompson Marsh, great question here. Do you use a tool to aggregate the stats for your weekly Friday email updates to sellers? How do you aggregate all of that info? And is there a tool that you use, or is it merely you go through and look at it?
So I have my assistant do this for me, but it is not a tool. I literally log on to Zillow, look up the listing that Zillow took from the MLS and put it on there. And I take the little snippet off of my PC, this little cutting tool, and I snip those numbers. And then I just summarize it at the top. Zillow, 35,000 views. Last week was 25,000 views. What's happening? Something's weird. We're getting a lot of views, but I show them week to week difference changes so that they see whatever I'm doing, marketing is working. We're getting more eyeballs on your property. And then again, it helps them surmise, well, why do we have 35,000 views and no offers? Well, what do you think it might be, Mr. Seller? What else could we do, right? So it's not really a tool. I just go and I snip and I put it in a beautiful email that here's the stats. Now, let me tell you this. Some people hate long emails. They hate stats. They hate numbers. But I promise you, if you make this a tradition and you do this every time, they're going to love you. Sometimes they don't even read it. Sometimes they just go, oh, thanks for the weekly email. They just love you. It's more about the relationship than it is about those stats, but it's showing them that you are consistently working for them.
Do you have a template that you use for your weekly email? Sometimes we get like my bills. I have a template and every year I just change the year. I add, new things. Is there a template for your weekly email in this sheet that you use?
I'd be happy to share it. Like it really is just me going, I put an ad on Pinterest. Here's the views on Pinterest. And I just screenshot it. And I put an ad on Instagram. Here's the views on Instagram. And here's the analytics. And I just, again, screenshot it and put it in the email. I'd be happy to share it. It's really simple, you guys. It's not science. It's not like a crazy thing that you have to figure out. It is so easy. So that brings me to one of my last topics of the best tip I can give you, which is to master rejection, master your stress, figure out how to overcome your stress. Last year, 80% of doctor visits were stress-related issues. And this is a very stressful business. And not only is our business stressful, but we're also managing other people's stress. Our clients, our buyers, our sellers, they're very stressed. And sometimes we become counselors and therapists. And it's okay, we're going to find you the perfect home. Don't stress. I'm so sorry that we put 10 offers and you're not getting homes anymore. But you have to be able to master your mindset. That is the very biggest tip I can give you, is to be resilient. A reaction to everything, it only hurts you. Take a deep breath, Learn to detach from certain things. Oftentimes we let other agents create drama, like my reality show, or cause issues. Don't let it get in the middle of your day. Brush it off. The sooner you can get up and get back to what you're doing, the better realtor you're going to be. I have seen realtors in this industry that something bad happened to them. Their client wanted to sue them or something like that. And it took them out of the industry completely. They quit. They decided to hang their license up because it was so hard for them. Those things are heartbreaking. And I want you to know you're going to run into a lot of awful people in this industry, but you'll run into a lot of great people too. And so look for the good people. Let the other ones go, ignore it. Don't spend more than 5 minutes. I always say, if you spend more than, if it's going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more, not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes on it. So just don't let yourself go, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. I'm so mad. I'm going to quit this business. It's so hard. Don't do it. If you're actually good at what you do, we need you in this industry. We need you. The general public needs to see professionals like you. Put your best face forward. Let the stuff slide off your back. Be resilient. That is my last tip. Master your mental state.
I absolutely love that. And once again, on a personal note, I mean, how can you not love Jen? But I know that there are people who, let's put it this way. My dad told me growing up that everybody wants you to be successful, but not too successful, right? And that's the same in our industry. It's the same in our neighborhoods. It's the same in really everywhere. And so the more successful you become, the more happy friends are for you, and the more frustrated competitors are with you. And so being resilient is such a critical component in keeping your composure, that part of resiliency. So I love that. Be resilient, lifetime client, take them out of past clients. Don't be a secret agent. These are, and traditions versus habits. For me personally, those are some of my key takeaways. And I love that. Now, just so everybody here knows today, we actually have 5 more of these set up over the next 5 months with Jennifer Yo. And I am personally, on a personal level, so very, very excited to be able to have her come back and to have the time to do this. And so look forward and be ready with questions in the future as well. But one question that I know people today are going to have, is there a way that they can contact you, Jen, if they want the template, if they want to be mentored by you, if they want to say, hey, I'd really like to do what you do and how you do it? Is there a preferred method of contact that you have for them?
Yeah, go to my website, JenniferYo, YEO.live, LIVE, JenniferYo.live. And watch Bravo. I'd love for you to see our show. Hopefully we do our nationwide realtors some good, because there are some crazy reality shows out there that aren't very real. This is very real. So I would love for you to see it and be a fan of mine, and so I could be a fan of yours. No,
and as you know, I am a raving fan. And one thing Jennifer knows about me is I don't blow smoke. And so if I say it, I actually do mean it. So I'm personally grateful you took the time for everybody here. I shared on the comment her website. Go in there. I'm looking at it right now. It even has, subscribe to learn more today. So you're able to. But one thing that's super cool is if you look at it, she's featured on CNBC, People, Bravo, NBC, Fox Sports. Okay, that's super cool.
Fox News.
You have, Us Weekly. You've done webinars with Weekly Real Estate News, WRA News. So these are all, you're not just someone, and I can say this, you're not just someone who's trying to become something. You are there and you are being successful. And when life is throwing you curveballs or wrinkles, you're ironing them out, you're overcoming them, and you're staying in the industry. And I agree with you 100%. That's what we need. We need people to realize that, take a breath, be resilient. I love that that's your top one. And I just truly, truly appreciate that. Any other last words for everybody out here? And once again, looking forward to next month as well.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This has been so fun. And again, I want everyone to leave here today and feel empowered to go and change their career. If you want to increase your sales, you have got this. It's not as hard as people think it is. Put your head down and work. That's all I did for 8 years. Head down and work. I now own one of the largest brokerages in the state of Utah. And I didn't even look up to congratulate myself. So congratulate yourself along the way. You're going to do great. I believe in you. I know you can. This is such a fun industry to be in. Go enjoy it.
Awesome. And before our next webinar, we're actually going to see your first episode. Remember, December 4th. Super excited. In fact, if you wouldn't mind sharing that link, we'll do something on Weekly Real Estate News. Make sure everybody's aware of it and the link to go watch it and all that good stuff. But we'll see that before the next, and we'll have some either rave reviews or some rather deep questions about that first episode. So
thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. See ya.